Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. I am Tamara Pupik, Managing Editor of Entrepreneur Middle East, which you all have in your goodie bags, and we're really proud and honored to cooperate with Mila and her team on this convention and on these special editions. And I am proud and honored to share this stage with the one and only Sara Al Madani. And because all of us here are women who just don't talk the talk, but walk the talk, we agreed that I will repeat some of the numbers to present Sara in numbers. So 9 businesses, 148 awards in business and in general, right? 98 tattoos. Married
this is an important part of the intro. 98 tattoos.
But everybody who is into tattoos knows that it's about important life events and important emotions, I believe. We can talk about that.
It's either emotions or it's either you've been to jail. So it's one of
It's about emotions. Married and divorced twice, one precious son, Maktoum, who is with us here today, and much, much more. Sara, thank you for sharing the stage with me and with all of us today and sharing your story. Let's start. Which of these numbers was the hardest? Which brought you the most lessons?
Which numbers out of all these numbers?
Yeah, of those, all of those numbers.
I mean, at the age of 38 right now, I realized that everything in your life that happens, good or bad, like the reason why also when people ask me, you're going to go on stage, what should we introduce you at? I always say introduce me as divorced twice, because being divorced for women is a taboo. A lot of women don't speak about it, and I want women to speak about it, because if the pants don't fit, you take them back to Zara, it's not a big deal. And the problem is that culture and stereotyping make women feel like you cannot express who you are. And I used to be like that. I used to never express who I was. I was the perfect Emirati little girl, and everything the culture expected I used to do and everything like that. But that got me nowhere because I was not being authentic to myself. And then I realized that what you suppress, your body express. So I started getting sick because I was not being authentic. I was not speaking my truth. I had to be quiet about everything in my life. Couldn't speak about divorce. Couldn't speak about being in abusive relationships. Couldn't speak about all these things. And then slowly, I started developing an autoimmune disease. So this is why right now, the most important message I have for people is just speak. Speak your truth. Be authentic to who you are. Because if you do what people want, they will still talk. If you don't do what they want, they will still talk. So why don't you do what you want? Let them still talk, because I call it fan fiction when people talk about you. So that's it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Applause.
Yeah. Rumors are fan fiction. That's it.
So this was one of the bold choices that you've made, right?
Everything is a bold choice.
Everything is a bold choice, especially. Let's start about your businesses. Maybe tell us, how do you manage 9 businesses? What can we grasp from there? How can women do it? Because we all talk as women that we can do it all, but then you have 9 of them.
Yeah.
So how do you organize yourself? And tips for entrepreneurs to start with?
We've been programmed to think that you should only work from 9 to 5, then sleep from this time to this time, eat breakfast that time to that time. This is all programming. We're all just programmed as human beings. So the minute you disturb that program and create your own program is when you realize that, okay, I've been told I can only manage 2 businesses. I can actually do 9. I'm dyslexic, so people told me, you will never have a business, you will never be a public speaker. I did. So whatever people tell you it just subconsciously programs you to be something you're not. And then here you are, a product of what society expects you to be. But I realized that when you don't micromanage, like the 9 companies that I have, I used to have 26, all of them failed miserably. 9 of them survived. And then I realized as an entrepreneur, if you micromanage, you burn out very fast. So what I decided to do is I stepped down as a CEO. I let the companies run on their own. I give people the space to be creative. I give my employees the space to express themselves and not to always be on top of their head like a manager micromanaging them. So I don't micromanage. Stepped out as CEO from so many companies, and now I'm CEO of only 2. And that's it. And I only work 3 days a week. The rest of it, I am focusing on my mental health and traveling and having fun and enjoying life. Because if I'm starting a business so I can be my own boss, so I can have the time that I want and the freedom, and I'm working 24/7, then I'm better off at a job because I'll have more freedom at a job. So I realize I have to pay attention to that. And this is why 3 days a week I work. Other than that, I'm doing nothing. I'm having fun.
Thank you. So this is a very good practical advice for entrepreneurs. Do not micromanage, step down as a CEO.
Leadership.
It's
Yeah,
actually
it's all about
leadership.
leadership.
And now we touched upon your healing journey, that you're now opening doors to other people to help them start their journey. And Sara told me just before that actually starting is the most important part. So tell us about your learning, the main learnings from there.
So, I mean, maybe a lot of you know me for years and years and years. You would know that my message when I was on stage as a public speaker or even on social media a couple of years ago was always about business, how to motivate women to be in business. But then I realized that if you're broken within, everything you do on the outside is rippled. Because if you don't fix what's inside, the outside is affected completely. So then I was like, I don't want to focus on teaching people how to start a business. Because to be honest, success is not something I can drop on Google Maps and say, hey, here's the location, come meet me where success is. It doesn't work like that. Success is your own journey because I'm a different person. I grew up differently. My reaction is different. My DNA is different. My mindset's different. So my story is my story. So it's not necessary that I can teach you my success journey. It's impossible. My best advice that I can give you is just start and learn and fail and grow from it. That's the best advice I can give. But then I realized that when you are broken inside and you don't focus on your mental health and healing, your outer world is a reflection of your inner world. And this is why a lot of times I was stuck, I didn't understand what was happening, I was confused, I was down, my motivation wasn't always on top, and I was always looking for different solutions. But the main problem was internally. And this is why right now, if you look at all my content online, it's just focused on healing, 100%. Because once you heal what's inside, you attract the best on the outside. Your internal world becomes your external world. So the number one question that I always get is, okay, you've been divorced twice, abusive relationship, failed so many businesses, lost so much money, all these things, great. How are you looking like this right now? How are you happy? How are you full of life? And how are you positive? And it all starts by healing. But then the number one question I get is, okay, how do I start? You know? And just to give you one piece of advice, healers are not people that will tell you, see you next weekend, see you next weekend, see you next weekend. Healers are people that are supposed to show you how to heal and become your own healer, and then you never come back to them anymore. Because if you come back, that means they failed. So this is something I learned while being on a healing journey. So then I sat with my healers and I said, okay, if the number one question is how do I start healing, why don't we do a retreat and use the same modality that I used for my healing, from everything that I had. I've actually, in my healing journey, not only that I've healed from negative and relationships, blah, blah, whatever, abusive relationships, I've also healed from autoimmune disease. My doctors told me, you will never get rid of Hashimoto's. I don't know if you guys know what Hashimoto's is. It attacks your thyroid. And they told me you have to live with it for the rest of your life. But I did the healing. Now I don't have Hashimoto's. So when I went back to my doctor's like, okay, we're going to do a case study. What did you eat? What did you drink? What supplements did you have? I'm like, I did healing. He's like, no. Let me write down. The problem is the pharmaceutical industry has trained us to believe that medicine is the only way to fix us, to heal us, to all that. But no, it's all inside. It's within. So I was on 46 tablets per day for the past 15 years. I'm on nothing right now. And this is all due to healing. And what people don't understand, we had a chat about it outside, right? I was telling her a lot of the issues we have physically, bloating, water retention, mind fatigue, autoimmune diseases, what happens is that your cells have their own mind. So each cell in your body keeps trauma on a cellular level as a memory inside. So you carry, this is why when When, for example, let's say if my mom has diabetes, when she gives birth, I have diabetes. It's not because diseases are transferable, trauma is transferable through the DNA and RNA. So this is why they always say, break the generational cycles, heal so you don't pass it to your kids. We're not talking about diseases. Humans were not even made to become sick, but we make ourselves sick because of how we think and all that.
I'm trying to extract the gems from her answers, and she touched upon something really important, because the healing industry has boomed, as you all know, and now it's important to understand who is the real healer.
Oh,
so
100%.
Thank you for sharing that with us, because we all know that we are exposed to a lot of content in that area, and a lot of people offering their services, but this is how you recognize. There are no sessions inevitably, right? It's one-time thing, and you will see it in them that they're there to heal you, and that's it.
Actually, and just like in the real world, you have scammers and people who like screw you over with business and money and all that. Even I'm a very spiritual person. In the spiritual industry, in the healing industry, there are scammers. So you have to be careful who you're dealing with. Don't go for something that's extremely viral. Always go for word of mouth. Take someone you trust his word about it. So, and this is why I told my healers, listen, let's create a retreat. And we take around 50 people every time, and we do the same modality I did for them, so they can heal from their trauma, their autoimmune diseases and all that. And then I'll be there with them as a community, just to, to uplift everybody, because we know, I thought that healing should be behind closed doors, but I've done it in group sessions, and it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful when you are vulnerable, when the energy is flowing, and we all have the same intention under one roof. We all want to be the best version of ourselves. We all want to heal. And it changes your life. It made me better at business. It made me better as a mother. It made me better as a sister, as a daughter, as everything. And even my son goes to healing sessions with me, and he's only 8, because I'm divorced, and I'm pretty sure it affected him somehow. I don't want him to wait until he's 38 or 37 like I did to find out, because healing was a taboo. So he starts early. We don't wait until it's late, because in our culture, when I used to tell my mom, I'm going to go do therapy, she's like, are you crazy? She's like, what are people going to say about you? No, my daughter's not crazy. So we had that stigma when it comes to healing and when it comes to therapy and all these things. But no, please no. I say, if you want to be successful, erase motherboard, which means forget who they told you to be, how they told you to be, who they told you to be, and find out who you really are. Because all of us are born with a blueprint. Your name is this, you're going to eat this, you're going to act like this is what you believe in, this is what you could do, this is what you cannot do. So you're born with like a document, and this is who you are. But who are you really? And you should not leave this world before figuring out who you are as a person. I'm not the Sara I was 5 years ago. Neither do I want to know her. I'm happy for everything I've been through, but I am the woman I am today. And guess what? I had to go through abusive relationships. I had to go through 2 marriages. I had to go through all of this. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been here sitting on the stage. So I embrace everything. I don't regret anything. I love everything that contributed to me being the person I am today.
Yes, You know how they say, when you change, everything around you changes. And as a public speaker, you're quite open about, like now, every aspect of your life, because you're generously sharing it with people in the hope that they will heal too. What has your public speaking career taught you about the response, about the world today, that you maybe didn't know before, that we didn't hear from you? What did your public speaking career show you, you sharing with the world your journey, showed you something new, that maybe new reaction as opposed to what you expected, for example?
So if there is one thing that I've learned, not only from public speaking, from being a public figure on social media and all that, if there's one thing I've learned is that you have less freedom and more responsibility. So everything I put online, everyone watching what I'm putting online, I'm responsible of. And I cannot say, well, don't let your kids watch my stuff if what I'm doing is too much for your children. I have no say. This is not a bedroom. It's a social media account, right? So I'm responsible for everything I do out there. And honestly, I'm not worthy. I call them my family. I have around 1.3 million followers on Instagram, right? I'm not worthy of any of these followers if I am bullshitting or selling them fake information or not trying to uplift them or help them or support them in any way or be of service, for the community or for society. I'm not worthy of all of this. So if God gave me a window, if God gave me a platform and I'm using it in the wrong way, then I'm not worthy of it. So I have a big responsibility.
That's another gem from this session. Thank you. It's basically accept your status on social media and in the public life as a service, as an act of service to others, and not in any other way. And one number that I forgot, we can slowly close with that, is 20 million viewers of her reality TV show that is coming back in June, Housewives of Dubai. I'm sure all of you watched it. What have you learned from being part of such a massive franchise and another type of community?
Just a quick funny story. So I don't know if you guys know about the Real Housewives. It's a huge franchise in America. When they called, I said no, because I was like, I'm a hippie, I'm a tree hugger. What am I gonna go do on a reality TV where I have to scream and fight and all that? So I said no. And then I was sitting in my room, because I meditate and I self-reflect a lot. I love being with myself so much. I have to have at least 3 hours a day with myself thinking. So I was like, where did this come from? How did they even find me or call me from like New York and stuff like that? But then I remembered, I'm like, oh my God, I actually manifested this because I was praying and I was like, God, I know that I'm a light worker, so I know that my purpose in life is to spread light and to spread knowledge to humanity. That's my purpose in life completely. It's not business, it's not whatever, it's this. So I was talking to God and I said, God, I want to make my voice go further than the Middle East. And then I looked up and I'm like, God, you have such a great sense of humor. This is what you send me? The Real Housewives of Dubai. So... and I was like, you know what? I manifested this. Let me just go on this platform and spread that message. So if you watch season 1, even if you watch season 2, all I talk about is healing because it is who I am. And I'm just showing people different ways of healings and how surviving something so ugly can become so beautiful in life, And we're not victims. We're all survivors. And it is we are who we are today because of what we went through in our life. And regret doesn't take you back or change anything. Yeah. So it was a crazy experience.
No, but this is really interesting. So basically, what you are asking for, the manifestation doesn't always come. Actually, quite often, it doesn't come in the shape and form as we expect her to come. It comes as it comes, right?
One tricky thing about manifestation before we wrap it up. Manifestation is not writing journals, I want this car, I want this house. It's not sitting down and saying, God, give me the best man, the best, the best, the best, the best. Manifestation is what you are from the inside you get. For example, if I tell you, I want to manifest amazing husband, the most perfect man. But then later on, we're having lunch, I tell you, girl, there are no men in this world. So what am I manifesting? This is whatever I told you was just bullshit, fluffy talk, right? But what I believe inside is that there's no good men. So guess what? I'm going to manifest very low class, very low frequency men because it's what I believe in. So it's not what you say, it's who you are, what you manifest. So you have to believe there are good men so you can manifest a good man. So you can't break the algorithm of the universe by saying nice things, but internally you're like, oops, I don't believe in it. So that's very important for manifestation.
I think thank you. I believe this is a roadmap. If you leave them with this is how you reach big goals, right? This is how you manifest big goals. Make sure that you are already what you wish for, right? Any other tip? And we're closing.
No, just basically, we've been taught that, if you're a good person or if you're like an empath, if you care about people, if you put yourself first, then you're being selfish. We've been programmed to think that, but no, you cannot. You're basically a hypocrite if you say, I want to help and support and you're helping everybody, but you're neglecting yourself. It's self-betrayal. You're becoming a toxic empath. So putting yourself first, if you think you're amazing because you're doing a lot for people and you're not putting yourself first, wait until you put yourself first. You're going to ooze kindness and you're going to be you're going to be very infectious. It's like you have a virus in you of love and kindness and gratitude that you're going to affect people with. So please put yourself first, because this is what love is about. You know, be love. Don't talk about love. Be love.
Thank you so much, Sara Al Madani, the one and only Sara Al Madani.